Hey friends, welcome back to the DeClerc Homestead. A few months ago, meaning I think it was the end of August, I took you guys inside of our very old farmhouse and shared a little bit of a kitchen refresh that we had been doing this year in our kind of 90s style kitchen. And this kitchen is something that we really haven't touched the entire 4 years that we've been in this house. I think I painted one wall and replaced the faucet on the sink when we first moved in, and that was it. So the motivation for this remodel was really just because the kitchen is showing some serious wear and tear and starting to have some issues with being cleanable because the floors had no ceiling on them. The tile counters are all cracked. So in the first video, I kind of talked you through what the plan was, what we had done to this point. We added beadboard onto the walls to give it some more character. We painted the floors just to get a little bit longer life out of them before they have to be completely ripped out. And then we were waiting on our new cabinet for the kitchen sink to come in. And that's kind of where I left off. I know that you guys have wanted an update though, both on just how the rest of the project is going. Are the painted floors holding up? So that's what I'm going to share with you today. Now, this entire kitchen is not very big. It's about, I think it's like 14 by 16. And it was kind of a spontaneous project. We didn't really budget for this, so we've just been cash flowing for it as we go. But one thing that we decided to splurge on was getting a custom cabinet replacement for that sink wall. And the reason for this is that I really wanted to have drawers instead of the normal kind of lower cabinets that have one drawer and then just open doors. I just love the functionality of having all drawers for base cabinets. And this was supposed to be in at the end of August, and it ended up taking 5 weeks longer to come in, which is the reason for the delay in our progress. So once it finally came in, Tommy got it installed and I painted it. And then I also painted the existing cabinet over by the oven that we will eventually replace, but we're going to keep for now. I just did really simple wooden knobs. I really wanted this kitchen to just feel kind of primitive and reflecting of the era of our home. So keeping things very simple, kind of rustic. Didn't want anything super fancy. And to keep along with our just affordable remodel options, we decided to do wooden countertops and ended up getting an old bowling alley for $300 off of Facebook. And it was like the 10-foot long slab of maple that Tommy cut and sanded down and finished as the countertop, which I think looks amazing. And then our stainless steel sink, also off Facebook for less than $200. I really wanted stainless, even though that's not technically very period appropriate, but we just have so many glass jars and things that go through, the sink to get washed. And I find that cast iron or porcelain sinks, just things break all the time on them. So stainless undermount sink is what I wanted. So this kind of gives you a visual of the before the sink wall, and then here is where we are at this point. And I someday would love to move the window and have it be centered, but for now, I think it is such an upgrade for such a simple, inexpensive project. I'm so incredibly happy with it. Having it open is so much more functional, and like I said, the original goal was just to have it be able to be cleaned. And the tile counters that were cracked just didn't have that option. So now let's talk about the floors. I'll put a link in the description of this video to my other video about what type of paint I used, how I did the floors. But just to quick summarize, I knew that this was a risk and it was an inexpensive lipstick on a pig type situation. And unfortunately, they are not holding up as I would have hoped, but again, didn't completely not expect. We let them cure for actually over a month before we really started walking on them regularly because our cabinet was delayed and we didn't have any reason to be in here anyways. And yet the black paint specifically is still wearing off super fast. Now the white paint, that is the base coat, isn't wearing off at all. But for whatever reason, the black paint, which is on top, is not adhered to the white paint well enough to stay. So kind of disappointing. I know a lot of people think that kind of the chippiness just gives it more character, which I do agree, but it's not ideal. So we will just have to save up to get these floors in here replaced. For now, they are much, much more cleanable than the raw wood that was underneath them. So I'm still happy that I painted them, even though they aren't probably a good long-term option for somebody to consider. There's still a lot of things to do in this project. We need to do the toe kick around the base of our new cabinet. We need to get some light switch plates in, and I do still hope to get beadboard going on the backsplash portion of the oven cabinet as well. But either way, I'm very thankful to have a functional kitchen with a sink again after almost 4 months without one. Oh, and one more thing. I had planned to use this antique table and raise or lengthen the legs so that it would be counter height in here as kind of my center island workspace and eating area with stools. But after having it in here for a few months, I've decided it's a little bit too wide for the space. So I'm hoping that Tommy can build me a island or a counter height table, something I can tuck stools under so the kids can still eat in here, but that is not quite as wide. It'll be a little bit more narrow and maybe even a little bit longer so that I have workspace, but we could maybe put it on casters or something so I have flexibility with where it sits exactly, but that's got to get done too. If you guys have any questions about this project that I forgot to answer, go ahead and just leave them in the comments. I am excited to kind of wrap this project up. I've got lots of ideas for the next project that I want to get done. So once this gets to the point of completion, at least enough completion that I can justify starting a new one, then I will be sure to do that. But hope you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you later.